If you enjoy this episode, please subscribe to Learn to Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are tuning in. If you love what you hear, consider leaving a 5-star review, as it will help other podcasters just like you discover this show. You'll find the show notes from this episode at learn2pod.com. Welcome back to Learn to Podcast, the show that will teach you everything you need to know to create, grow, and monetize a successful podcast. I'm your host, Scott Wyden Kivowitz, and in this episode, we're going to talk about recording your podcast. This includes tips for clear and engaging audio, overcoming common recording challenges, and an introduction to interviewing guests, if applicable. Here are a few tips for recording clear and engaging audio for your podcast. Use a good microphone. A good microphone is essential for recording high-quality audio. Place your microphone in a quiet environment. Background noise can ruin your audio quality. Speak clearly and slowly. This will help ensure that your listeners can understand you. Edit your audio to remove any mistakes or unwanted noise. Here are a few common recording challenges and how to overcome them. Echo. To reduce echo, you might need sound dampening materials, carpets, blankets, pillows, anything that will absorb the sound and stop it from bouncing around those shallow walls. Room noise. If you're recording in a noisy environment, try using noise gate to reduce background noise. You can also try a quieter location. Some podcasters even start by recording inside of their closets. Popping. Popping is a harsh sound that can occur when you say certain words that include P's and B's. To reduce popping, use a pop filter. Ums and uhs. Ums and uhs can make your podcast sound unprofessional. To reduce ums and uhs, practice speaking slowly and clearly. You can also edit out the ums and uhs during post-production. Editing software like Descript can make it extremely easy to remove these filler words with a simple click. Now, if you are planning on interviewing guests on your podcast, here are a few tips. Prepare your questions in advance. This will help you keep conversations flowing. Be respectful of your guests' time. Ask open-ended questions that encourage your guests to share their insights. Listen carefully to your guests' answers and follow up with clarifying questions. Edit your interviews to remove any mistakes and unwanted noise. If you're recording your episodes remotely, then I suggest using modern virtual recording studios designed specifically for podcasting. Two incredible options available are Riverside FM and Squadcast. Recording your podcast is an important step in the podcasting process, of course. But by following the tips in this episode, you can record clear and engaging audio that will capture your listeners' attention. If you plan on interviewing guests on your podcast, be sure to follow the tips mentioned before. By doing so, you can create informative and engaging interviews that will be enjoyed by your listeners. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to joining you on this journey to podcasting success. We are all about creativity, innovation, and a touch of playfulness here at Learn to Podcast. We love building this amazing community of ours, and we've been brainstorming some fun nicknames to call our fantastic listeners. And yes, it's official. You're not just listeners. You're part of the crew. Greetings, Podfinders. That's short for Podcast Pathfinders. Thanks for tuning in to Learn to Podcast as we lead the way through the podcasting wilderness. Learn to Podcast does not currently have a sponsor or service to earn money from the show, but we cannot build our show without 3 incredible tools. That's why in lieu of sponsorship, we want to share these incredible tools with you: Descript, Castmagic, and Transistor FM. These products and services are what make Learn to Podcast possible. Check out our affiliate links in the show notes to learn more about them. And if you sign up, we do make a small commission. Thanks again, Podfinders, for tuning in.